Welcome to part 2 of Phil's World on Life and Leadership. Last month, Phil spoke about our obsession with self, and he'll be continuing this topic today and talking about dealing with aspects of becoming better people by being self-managed, self-motivated, and self-governed.
Okay, talk a little bit about self-motivation, because I think those things work.
They all work together.
Hand in hand.
They all work together. You know, a self-aware person understands I've got to develop in my ability to be self-managed, but also they are self-motivated people. So here's the thing, a self-motivated person is not the person who you are constantly trying to pump up.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
have you ever, had the old inflatable in the pool? We have, I don't know how many pool inflatables now, but when you have teenage girls, you have inflatable donuts, you have inflatable
unicorns,
you have inflatable big popsicle things. You know what I mean? The world, it's one big inflatable world, but the inflatables sometimes get holes in them.
Oh yeah.
And what do? You're just like, Dad, can you inflate the inflatable again? And you're trying to find a hole because otherwise you're constantly pumping it up.
Yeah.
That's what unmotivated people are like. It's like they look good for a day. It's like, yeah, look at them. But then some pressure comes, they deflate. Self-motivated people have the ability to stay inflated even when the pressure comes.
You also said that they self-motivated people are working hard and they are excited of what they're part of. And
yeah, totally. I think self-motivated people, they bring an energy to the room, don't they?
Yeah.
It's not like they're waiting for someone else to encourage them. They're coming into the room. They're coming into the environment ready. You know, they're like, hey, let's go, let's do this. I had this idea or that. So they're bringing that energy. Self-motivated people, they look for things that will inspire them, whether that's other people, whether that's books, whether that's podcasts, whatever it is, they look and find ways to feed and to build on that energy.
So I almost think that if I can see a self-motivated person will have almost a big vision, what that's the thing that drives them, and then attached to that, they'll be self-managed because they need to manage their time to actually, accomplish that vision, and then they need to be self-aware to realize when they're not self-motivated and they're not being...
Exactly. So it all connects and it all flows together.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about self-motivated people. I believe they have an internal understanding of value. So they want to do their best because they're representing who they are.
Yeah.
So this statement by an Arsenal defender, former Arsenal defender, Tony Adams. I am not an Arsenal fan. I'm a Manchester United fan.
Gunners.
You are an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
See, Lawrence, that's a big problem. That's a big problem, people. But it's not as bad as being a Liverpool supporter.
Exactly.
Liverpool supporters, they live in a perpetual state of pain.
Exactly.
And if you're a Liverpool supporter, hey, hearts go out to you. But here's what Tony Adams said. He said, play for the name on the front of the shirt and they'll remember the name on the back. Wow.
That's a very good statement.
It is. It's a great statement because often we're like, I want them to know me. But a self-motivated person doesn't need their name to go out there.
Yes.
They're playing for the bigger name. But their name will get remembered. Okay, we're remembering Tony Adams right now because he made up the quote. So make up a good quote. People will remember you.
People know you.
But play for the name on the front of the shirt, which is whatever the corporation, organization is. It's not self-obsessed people play for the name on the back. They play for their own name. Self-aware people play for a bigger picture. They work and understand there's a bigger purpose that I'm involved in, and they're self-motivated towards that.
Yeah. Okay. Then the last one that we'll look at around self is this idea of being self-governed.
Yes. So self-governed is all about, it's internal. I mean, all of these kind of are, but self-governed is that internal moral compass. Here's the idea I like. I prefer that as a team, we don't live by checklists, we live by a compass. And, that is something that I think a lot of leaders, all they do is they lead by a checklist.
Yeah.
Have you done this? Have you done that? Have you done this? Have you done that? And so it's very one-dimensional. But if people lead with a compass, there's flexibility, You know, you can move a little bit. It's fluid, but there's a compass. We know true north. We know the direction we're heading.
Yeah.
It's an internal compass. It's not just a bunch of checklists, a bunch of rules and regulations.
Yeah.
We are self-governed because this internal compass keeps us right, keeps us focused.
Yeah.
It's our character.
Yeah.
It's our integrity. It's who
Yeah.
we are when no one's looking.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's so important, is to understand this, because a lot of people, they'll do all the other stuff, but they won't get that internal compass right.
So when you spoke to our team, you kind of talked about having a healthy heart. Would you say that's kind of the drive of that that compass is the
Absolutely. Proverbs 4:23 says, "Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life," or out of it flows all the issues of your life. Guard your heart, your internal part of who you are. Now, that's for you personally. It could be for your team.
Yeah.
You know, we been spending time with our local, the local rugby franchise here, professional team, working with the coach, working with the senior players, and talking to them about the heart of that team. Because it doesn't matter how skillful the players are, it doesn't even matter the strategy. If that team is not connected at a heart level, and that's an internal compass where they govern their heart and they deal with any issues, they deal with trust, all of those things. For all of us, if we don't deal with that, man, I tell you, it affects everything. So we've got to deal with what's going on in our heart. There'll be times when we get bitter. There'll be times when we get frustrated. There'll be times when we could get tempted in certain directions. And we've got to guard our heart, because if we don't, it can absolutely destroy everything else. And so self-governed is so critical to how we live and how we grow as people and how we build our teams.
So maybe you just want to, if you don't mind, I know we've actually spoken a lot about this now, but maybe just give a quick overview of those 4 things which we spoke. Well, firstly, maybe self-obsession versus, you know, self-awareness.
Yeah, okay. So the 4 areas that we're dealing with and looking at today, let's choose to be people who are not self-obsessed, but we're self-aware. So we're going to evaluate. We're going to trust people around us to speak into us and to help us to grow. We're going to ask good questions.
Yeah.
We're not going to live self-obsessed where it's all about me. We understand I'm going to be responsible, you know, as opposed to special and feeling like I therefore deserve or somehow I'm entitled.
Yeah.
So we're not going to live like that if we want to grow.
Yeah.
If you don't want to grow, be self-obsessed and you'll live in a small little world, and I suppose that'll be fine. But if you want to grow, then learn to be self-aware. Self-motivated, be someone who understands, you know, their purpose, has a vision. Self-managed, develop a plan, develop a schedule. You know, look at your time and how you do things, and self-governed. Deal with that moral compass, that inner man, who you are. Get bitterness out quickly. You know, don't let things hurt you. Forgive others. You know, make good, healthy choices internally, because all these things will help you to be a better person, build a better life, be a better leader, and that's what we want to be all about.
Absolutely.
Thanks for being with us today. Hey, if you've got questions, we want to hear from you. You can email us at askphil@hillsong.co.za. You can go to our website, phildooley.com. And we'd love to hear from you. We'd love you to rate this podcast on iTunes, spread the word on social media. Thanks for being with us. Next month, we will see you and hear from you then.